guideline that you need to follow. There is a specific code that you need to approach to, and many other little details that one needs in such situations. When in such a fix, a common man tends to approach lawyers and other people who often end up misguiding them. We at Legally Yours are providing you with a handbook at your disposal for all that you need to know. We have 5 templates ready for your disposal. What to do when you need to file an RTI, how to register your trademark, how to adopt, what to do.
Distribution system, which is the largest in the world by a long margin, as a result of coming into the space of private players, and shortcomings in the procurement policy. Is it focused on just a few crops? We will look at that. And is it leading to faltered kind of cropping patterns? And we are also going to be discussing, because we talk about recent judgments, I always believe that we should talk about most recent topical developments. So what has happened day before yesterday, obviously we have to talk about it. So the Supreme Court observations in the farm laws case. And lastly, one more topic. Supreme Court in the judgment has said something about right to protest. So we have to contrast and compare this with earlier judgments by larger benches and by Supreme Court as recently as few months ago in the case of Amit Sahni versus Commissioner of Police. So we will just look at these 5 or 6 points, and I intend to take around 45 minutes and from now. And after that, if the moderator has some questions, or if any of you have any questions, please feel free to send it across. So let us just start with what is this whole problem all about. First of all, friends, there are 3 laws which earlier were brought in through the ordinance route. The ordinance was passed by the President of India under the powers conferred upon him in Article 123 in the month of June last year, June 2020, and thereafter in the monsoon session, without much discussion and debate, they were passed in one house by voice vote and in the other house by voting. Now, what are the names of these 3 laws? One is Farmers Produce Trade and Commerce Promotion and Facilitation Act. Now, please don't go by the names, because Shah Bano case led to Muslim Women Protection of Rights on Divorce Act. And what was it in reality? Muslim Husband Protection of Rights on Divorce Act. So please don't go by the nomenclature. Shakespeare has said, no, what's in a name? A rose by any other name is still a rose. So Farmers Produce Trade and Commerce Promotion and Facilitation Act. The second is Farmers Empowerment and Protection Agreement of Price Assurance and Farm Services Act. And the third is modification to the EC Act 1955, Essential Commodities Act. Now, like I said, they first came by this route. Broadly, you already know what these 3 laws do. So I will just give you a broad thing before moving into the specifics and the contentious parts. The Farmers Produce Trade and Commerce Act provides for setting up of a mechanism allowing farmers to sell outside the APMCs, which means anybody any trader who has a certain license from the state agriculture department can come and buy. He can belong to outside the state, he can be an MNC, he can be a foreigner, he can come and buy from farmers at mutually agreed prices. Now, the farmers have been given the incentive that if you sell to these persons, you will not be coming to the mandi or the APMC, and you will not be paying the mandi tax. Now, mandi tax, depending on the state, could be 1%, 2%, or 8%, or 9%, depending on services provided, depending on this thing. And yet, the mandis are always in loss, and they are generally looking to the center or the state for support all of the time. So mandis may be inefficient. They certainly are. Maybe in some parts of the country there may be dens of corruption also. But doing away with mandis, is that practicable? Is something we are going to be looking at. The second one is, friends, the agreement of Price Assurance and Farm Services Act, which allows them to do contract farming. Now, contract farming has already been done for many crops. But for doing for cereal crops, this is where the hidden point is. Contract farming already happens. आप लोगों में से कौन है जो गैरकिन खाता है इंडिया में बैठ के? गैरकिन इज समथिंग लाइक अ क्यूकम्बर. कोई नहीं खाता इंडिया में गैरकिन. पंजाब में प्रोड्यूस होता है. It is all under contract farming and it is all sold abroad. Nobody in India eats it. There is no market for it.
Avocado is another example.
Avocado is another example. Very good. So there are so many others which we don't eat in India, and they are only grown for export purposes, right? So kiwi is another example. I mean, another subset. So but bringing it for wheat, barley, corn maybe, or for rice, paddy that it is, will change the equation. And then of course EC Act. So the EC Act basically places limits that movement of food grains, edible oils, pulses, onion cannot happen outside the district boundaries, outside the state boundaries. It is an exception to Article 301 to 307, and that the EC Act, that the exception is there, that you cannot move things out except in cases of crisis. Now, it is the other way around. Movement shall be free except in cases of crisis. Earlier it was movement cannot be there except in cases of crisis, which means there is a shortage in some area. Okay, fine, then you send the goods. But now it is you cannot, except in crisis, it will be free trade. Now, people are saying, people who are pro reforms, I mean, of these, they are reforms, whether you like it or not, there are reforms. But then, are the reforms needed? Or is this the only way to reform? People say that this is the same as 1991 opening of the Indian economy, globalization, liberalization happening to the agriculture sector. This will lead to betterment of farm infrastructure, etc., etc. Now comes one more issue of MSP. We will talk about MSP before we move on to some of the other issues. Now, see, all over India, we know that because of populism, the MSP, which is given for about 27 odd crops from time to time. Sugar is a different case altogether. Sugarcane, there is sugarcane assured price. That's a different case altogether. Because of the flawed policies of the government, 1 year you have a glut of sugar, and the next year you have an excess. Because sugar is 1.5 year cycle. So 1 year will always be a glut, and 1 year will always be excess. I mean, will always be high sugar prices. So that is just the flawed policy. As far as possible, MSP is now MSP is there for 27 crops. But why is the problem only there? Because in other crops, nobody is really bothered. Nobody really does procurement. FCI only does procurement. State marketing federations only do procurement for wheat and paddy and coarse grains. Mainly, it is only wheat and paddy. Now, people will ask, why is the protest only limited to Punjab, Haryana? The answer is also there. 85 and 82% of procurement is done by FCI in Punjab and Haryana. And in Punjab, over and above 85%, Markfed is doing procurement for central government. So please understand that all over the country, Food Corporation of India does procurement for the buffer stocks, which are used for PDS. But in Punjab, they also do it. And in addition, because they cannot do all the procurement, they also ask the Punjab Marketing Federation, Markfed, to do procurement on their behalf. So virtually all the wheat and paddy produced in Punjab is mopped up by the central government. And similar is the position with Haryana. Right, and similar is the position in Western UP, although the number is much lesser than 85 or 82%. Similar is the position in Rajasthan. Similar is these North Rajasthan, North Madhya Pradesh, where agriculture is still remunerative. Otherwise, agriculture nowhere in India is it remunerative unless they are producing cash crops. So except for these four pockets which I have told you, Punjab, Haryana, Western UP, North Rajasthan and North Madhya Pradesh, agriculture nowhere in India today is remunerative. Many times you are not even able to recover in a bad year, you are not even able to recover the cost of seed. We all know this. So now There could be areas like Andhra Pradesh where tobacco is grown. It is a cash crop. They are very happy. Tamil Nadu, Maharashtra, certain pockets where sugar is grown, very happy. Sugar cane produce. But is agriculture remunerative in Bihar? Is agriculture remunerative in Purvanchal? The answer is no, unfortunately. And so that is why obviously nobody is going to protest. Kerala is very happy because they only produce spices. They are not going to be bothered. So this whole business of MSP actually is only relevant in the case of wheat, rice, millets, jowar, bajra procurement takes place in Maharashtra, etc. So that is what is the sore point. And over the years, MSPs are far in excess of the market price because of populist political reasons. Now the government basically, from their point of view, they want to do away with MSP. But can you leave the farmer? I mean, can you leave the baby out with the bathwater? That is the question. The farmers fear, and it is not just the farmers fear. Even agricultural economists, many of them, many scholars who have studied agriculture for 50 years, like P. Sainath, they are saying that the new laws would make MSP absolutely irrelevant, or new laws would make it no longer binding for the government to procure, and there is no assured income from farming. So agriculture, which is remunerative in these states, will no longer be so, right? And the wheat, paddy, and like I said, some coarse grains, and in some states maybe even some pulses, these are typically the ones that are procured. Now there was a committee set up by the union government in 2015 which says that only 6% farmers benefit from the MSP regime. Whether it was 6%, whether it is not 6%, I don't know. But wherever this 6% is, I mean, I'm telling you, in Punjab and Haryana, you can look at the figures of FCI, you can look at the state government figures. It is well above 80%. So the fact that the MSP system will crumble or may crumble or get dismantled or get diluted, the fear is very real in Punjab and Haryana. That is why these are the ones who are most vocal in their protest. Now, why is the government reluctant? Why do they want? Because it is MSP has always been food per se, not just MSP. In India, has always been immensely political as a subject, and it is whether the government has a right. Those of you who have been following the right to food case, it was the world's longest surviving mandamus anywhere in the world by such a long margin, and for virtually 17 years, the Supreme Court has monitored every government food distribution scheme, like midday meal, like Anganwadis, ICDS, this PDS, everything has been monitored. And agriculture economists say that this is the most costliest ration scheme anywhere in the world. There are inefficiencies in it. And this whole business of procuring for distribution under PDS is also very costly because you procure at very, very high prices, then you transport it, and then you store it, and warehousing cost, etc. All of that is very, very expensive. Now, the other problem, where is paddy and wheat procured? It is procured from Punjab, Haryana, Western UP, North Rajasthan, North Madhya Pradesh. And where is it sent? It is sent all over the country. See the problem. The food that is actually grown in Punjab and Haryana is sent all over the country by train. Now imagine the cost of transport. I mean, imagine the cost of transporting it. What did they eat in the Northeast? चावल खाते हैं ना, तो चावल को नॉर्थ ईस्ट पहुंचाना कितना महंगा होता है? अगर हरियाणा में कोई वेयर हाउस है, तो that is what really adds to the cost, and that is what makes the PDS so expensive to run. Because I mean, there are very few railheads. At some places, you may even have to carry it by air. You may have to carry it by roads, and roads don't exist in the Northeast. So it is very, very difficult. I mean, okay, you have now got GPS tracking of trucks, etc. But रास्ते में किसी ने लूट लिया. All those things happen. So, and even by train, it is, I mean, imagine the number of kilometers. Similarly, imagine the rice which is procured from Punjab and Haryana, and it has to be taken to, let's say, Tamil Nadu or Kerala or Andhra or Telangana, because these are all rice eating states. So that is going to create a problem. Or imagine the wheat which is procured from Punjab and Haryana and which is transported to, let's say, Odisha, because they eat both rice and wheat there. See, these states are all procuring locally. That's fine, but they are not producing enough. The production, the procurement, the food for the poor that is coming through PDS is only coming from Punjab, Haryana. That is the where the problem is. There are 7,000 APMCs today, approximately, give or take a few, and these APMCs provide. This is from where the procurement takes place. Now, um, these APMCs have been dismantled in some states, like in the case of Bihar. Now, see what is happening in Bihar. The farmer in Bihar, what is happening to him? He is selling much below MSP to agents from Punjab and Haryana. They come there, they buy his stuff, and then the transport cost, they say, look, we have to spend X amount of rupees on transport, so we will pay you X minus, 200 minus X. So he is, as it is, getting much below MSP, and now the transport cost is also reduced from his amount. So he is really suffering. So that is the problem. APMC destruction in Bihar has led to virtual death for the wheat farmer in Bihar. So he is now going and producing pulses, जो वो local में बेच सकता है तो बेच सकता है, but otherwise wheat में तो उसका कोई वहाँ पे consumer ही नहीं है. So this is part of the problem, and the similar problems. The APMCs are very inefficient in Uttar Pradesh. Now again, there is a problem. So APMC system to some extent works in these two states, Punjab, Haryana. That is why you are seeing that there is a problem here. Again, I've told you MSP has consistently risen, making the FCI pay more and more for farm producers. And the other hand, we find that the mandis, they have to, make arrangements for weighing, for washing, for drying of all of these, and then for generally parking and other things which have to be there. So they have to meet their cost. So the mandi tax is there, which I told you. Apart from that, they are always looking for funds from the center or the states, because to create new infrastructure, newer things. Because nowadays people's expectations also increase. Earlier, the farmer was very happy standing in the hot sun for 4 days, waiting to sell his product. Today, he comes in a tractor trolley, and if he does not get his parchi or his money in 3 hours, he starts creating a ruckus. So you have to employ more staff. You have to have some electronic weighing machines. You have to have facilities for washing, because he says that no, I will not wash it, I will just harvest it and bring it. So all those things are there. Okay, so these are the challenges with regards to the APMCs. So let us now look at each of these laws in contention. First of all, most people don't seem to understand that these laws are actually enacted by the center by virtue of powers conferred upon it in the concurrent list. If you look at the statement of the agriculture minister 3 4 days back, the last offer which he has made in the talks with the farmer leaders is that, look, we will give the states the option to notify the law. What does that mean? You have studied the principle of, if you are law students, you have studied the principle of repugnancy, and from the participants list that I can see here, I see that most of you are probably law students. So the principle of repugnancy is there. It is there in Article 254 of the Constitution. What does it mean? That both the laws made by the center and the state have to be part of list number 3. The central law, if it is made prior or subsequent to the state law, will prevail to the extent of such inconsistency. But 254.2 has a saving grace. It says that if the central law is made earlier, the state can bring a new law, which, if it is in conflict with the provisions of the central law, the governor can reserve it for consent of the president. And if it receives presidential consent, how will it receive presidential consent? Based on the advice of the Council of Ministers. Then the state law can also override the central law with respect to that particular state. Of course, the center can again override it later on. That is what is mentioned in 254.2. So this is something you have to understand. So this is what the agriculture minister was alluding to, that state can pass a law saying that we will not implement it. We will give presidential assent. That is what he was saying. So you have to read between the lines. And these laws have been made with respect to entry number 33, list number 3. What is entry number 33, list number 3? That trade and commerce in and production, supply, distribution of, number 1, products of any industry, the control of which by the union is declared by parliament by law to be expedient in public interest, and imported goods of the same kind as such products. Number 2, foodstuff, including edible oils and seeds, and so on and so forth. So whether it is Essential Commodities Act, whether it is this Promotion and Facilitation of Trade and Commerce Act, or whether it is the third law, all of them are actually made under this provision only, entry number 33. So entry number 33 means it is in the concurrent list. Many people seem to say agriculture is a state subject, ये state subject में कैसे बना दिया, federalism के principle में violation हो गया, etc. You don't understand the basics. So it is made under the concurrent list unless the Supreme Court decides to rule otherwise. Now you have to see, out of these 3 laws, friends, the most contentious is the FPTC Act. That is seen to be weakening the hold of the mandis or the APMCs, as they are formally called. So the opposition is to the FPTC Act, Farmers Produce Trade and Commerce Promotion and Facilitation Act. So the other 2 laws में बहुत ज्यादा कुछ नहीं है, farmer angst नहीं है, according to me. Essential Commodities Act, okay, you have done away with the power of the center to impose stockholding limits. That's fine. There could be war, and what are they saying that what could be those limits? There could be war, there could be famine, there could be natural calamities, etc., etc. The one of the contentious provision of the EC Amendment Act is that if it is causing increase in horticultural products, which is onion and potato, basically, so by 100%, then we will come in. Now, 100 रुपए increase का आप wait करेंगे, क्या वो ठीक है? I don't know. But then critics will argue, or people in favor will argue that look, 100% increase तो हो ही जाता है. दिल्ली में प्याज 20 रुपए का मिलता है और 100 रुपए का भी हो जाता है, 5 गुना इंक्रीज हो जाता है. So maybe 100% is not such a serious thing. I would personally say it should be 50%. So this limit should kick in when the stock holding limits under the EC Act should kick in when the retail price increases by 50%. That is my thing, not 100. But anyway, I mean, every policymaker has their own reasons for doing so. And 50% for non-perishables. Now again, I would say not 50%, it should probably be 30% non-perishable. But then this is a question of numbers, and it is कोई बहुत बड़ा उस पे वो नहीं है. So non-perishables में मतलब क्या होता है? Edible oils हो गया, pulses हो गया, दाल हो गया, cereal हो गया, इस तरह की चीजें हो गई. So these stock limits are applying only to the Aratyas, traders, कुछ भी कह लीजिए. So it exempts the processors. Now this is where the fine print is. Processors like biscuit manufacturers, processors like the Adanis of this world, processors like the Ambanis of this world, exporters like XYZ sugar company, XYZ so and so of this world. These are the ones who for whom these stockholding limits will not apply. The stockholding limits are only going to be applying to the traders, the shopkeepers, basically. So that is where the problem is. Do you know some interesting fact? When all over India you are growing, I mean, you have sugarcane consumption, sugarcane production, and sugar consumption. According to you, let me ask you, how much of sugar is consumed by retail consumers like Gurkaran, me, all of us put together? कितना हम लोग चीनी खा जाते हैं? चाय में, बर्फी में, कितना खा जाते हैं?
10-15%.
That's
Max to
right.
max.
That's right. 90% sugar in this country is consumed by biscuit makers, Coca-Cola makers, these kind of people who are bulk consumers. किसी को कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता चीनी के दाम क्या है, right? Whether it is 46 rupees a kg, whether it is 90 rupees a kg, whether it is 25 rupees a kg, it does not really matter to you and me, because we don't quite eat sugar as a retail consumer. Okay, the price of sugar will drive up the price of cake and biscuit, and confectionery and noodles and whatever else, but it is something which is consumed by the bulk. So this is something you have to keep in mind. So the exporters, the processors, ये इन लोगों पे ये लागू नहीं होता, या तो across the board लागू करते हैं. Now, see, I mean, I'm not taking any political sides, etc. I'm just putting before you facts which can be verified over the internet. This ordinance came in the month of June, and in the month of May, the land use was changed for a mega food park where storage facilities were granted to private players in Haryana. Something similar has happened in Moga in Punjab, where the Adanis have a huge grain storage silos. So this is, I mean, a land use change in Haryana, Sonipat district, and something similar happening just before this ordinance coming in. Thoda sa, I mean, see, the optics are not good. I'm not saying it happened, it is a direct relation. I'm not even saying in one case it is, I mean, both of these things have been done by state governments. One is an opposition ruled state government, one is the same party's state government. But from the point of view of optics, it does not look good. You immediately have this, and I mean, you do this land use, you have a mega food park, you have grain storage facilities by private people, and then you immediately come up with laws like these. So thoda sa the timing does not appear to be correct. Again, let us come to the provisions which are dealing with contract farming. See, for in Punjab especially, prosperous farmers, etc., they have had the contract farming agreements for many years, at least 25, 30 years, I can tell you, for various crops. Where do you think PepsiCo and Lay's and Uncle Chips and all these fellows get their aloo from? They're
Punjab.
getting it from Punjab, huh? So similarly, I told you there are crops which are dedicated for only for export purposes. Kiwi, I told you, avocado, I told you. These are all certain things. I mean, for example, यहाँ पे कोई नहीं खाता घेरकिन, वो cucumber. ये जो काली पीली शिमला मिर्च होती है, ये भी कोई नहीं खाता. अब खाने लगे हैं लोग साउथ दिल्ली में काली पीली शिमला मिर्च. ऐसे ही बेचते हैं इसको. ठीक है, आप इसको बेल पेपर के नाम से जानते हैं, बट इसको शॉपकीपर तो काली पीली बोलता है. तो दे आर ग्रोन ओनली फॉर एक्सपोर्ट बिकॉज नाउ यू हैव रेफ्रिजरेटेड ट्रांसपोर्ट अवेलेबल. आजकल बैंगलोर में फूल की खेती हो रही है. दैट इज ऑल्सो हैपनिंग बिकॉज ऑफ कॉन्ट्रैक्ट फार्मिंग इंसिडेंटली. So this is not driven. So what the point I'm trying to make is you do not have to facilitate contract farming by law. If farmers think it is viable, वो अपने आप करने लगेंगे. ठीक है. सो दिस इज एंड जो लो शुगर कंटेंट वाला आलू होता है, ये जो आप टेबल पे आलू खाते हैं और जो लो शुगर कंटेंट वाला आलू होता है, ये बहुत फर्क होता है. ये लो शुगर कंटेंट वाला जो आलू होता है, ये पंजाब में ही बनता है. ठीक है, वो इट इज मेड टू ऑर्डर. वो जो है पहले से ही सौदा कर लेते हैं कि भाई आप इतना बनाओगे और ये हमारे लिए बनाओगे और एज पर दिस सीड, एंड सीड इज आल्सो गिवन बाय पेप्सिको एटसेट्रा इंसिडेंटली. सो अगेन शुगर केन, मिल्क, क्या ये मंडी में बिकता है? ये सब कॉन्ट्रैक्ट फार्मिंग ही तो है, राइट? सो शुगर मिल्स पहले से ही कर लेती हैं, डेयरी मिल्स पहले से ही कर लेती हैं, डेयरी प्लांट्स पहले से ही कर लेती हैं. सो दिस इज and whatever maybe the system that works, it could be outright purchase, it could be lease, it could be mortgage, and this is fine. You don't quite need a law for this. Okay.
Just to interject,
Yes, please.
वेस्टर्न यूपी में एग्जांपल आया था जहाँ पे शुगर केन की मैक्सिमम जो प्रोडक्शन होती है
Correct,
western,
correct.
वहाँ पे एक लॉ पास किया गया था that the sugar mill owners would be furnished their amount in 15 days after the crop is given to them. But still वहाँ पे जो examples आ रही हैं, जो stories
That's right. That's right.
पे नहीं किया गया. So is it a
That's
bad?
right. See, the problem with sugar, I told you, sugar is we can have a separate webinar only on sugar. Sugar is a very badly regulated kind of a commodity. This is a classic example what over regulation can do. The whole market is killed. शुगर किससे लेना है, कितना लेना है, और मैं आपको बता रहा हूँ शुगर से आम आदमी को कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता. वैसे भी गंदी चीज है. द सेंटर, the power to tax agricultural income is with the state. Agriculture per se as a subject is with the state. So, you know, this is slightly complicated, but then that is how it is. Okay, so now let me tell you, when you read Article 246, read with the 7th schedule of the Constitution of India, you will find entry number 14. You will find entry number 14, and entry number 14 says agriculture. So, which means agriculture is obviously something which is falling within the domain of the state. Now, there is also entry number 28, which is markets and fairs, which means APMCs. That is also under the state. But you have entry number 42 of the union list, which says that interstate trade and commerce. And you also have entry number 33 in the concurrent list, which I have just told you, under which the center can make laws. And you know that in the concurrent list, central law will prevail. But entry number 42, it says that the center can regulate interstate trade and commerce. So this is where the problem really lies. Entry number 33 covers trade and commerce, which I already studied with you. Entry number 43 covers trade and commerce in foodstuff, which includes food and edible oil, fodder, cotton, whatever. Center can very well pass any law that removes all impediments to intrastate, interstate movement of farm produce. They can also override APMC. And that is what the FPTC Act has done. This is where the problem is. Some of your जो experts हैं वो कहते हैं भाई मार्केटिंग अलग होता है, ट्रेड अलग होता है. ट्रेड का मतलब होता है जो सामान एक बार बेच दिया मार्केट में उसको एक जगह से दूसरी जगह ले जाना, और मार्केटिंग का मतलब होता है जब पहली बार लेके आ रहे हैं. Now there may be some truths in it. अब इस तरह की चीजें फार्मर को थोड़ी समझ में आती हैं, वो तो बेचारा घबरा जाता है. सी एंड कॉन्ट्रैक्ट फार्मिंग में बहुत ज्यादा लोगों के साथ धोखा भी हो चुका है. जो प्रॉस्परस वेल टू डू फार्मर्स हैं वो तो अपने राइट्स इन्फोर्स कर लेते हैं, कपिल सिब्बल को ले आएंगे, अखिल सिब्बल को ले आएंगे, मनु सिंघवी को ले आएंगे. बट please understand, in Madhya Pradesh, in Maharashtra, where these kind of contract farming things have been done, there have been many frauds. मतलब वो अनपढ़ आदमी होते हैं, वो तो अंगूठा, you know what kind of education level these people have. They want to vote for the Congress party, and I'm telling you, this is a fact. I mean, I've seen it firsthand. So they want to vote for the Congress party. अभी तो आजकल EVM आ गया है, but पहले जब कांग्रेस पार्टी को वोट करना होता तो हाथ का पंजा is the symbol. They, instead of voting for the on the ballot paper, they put that stamp on their own hand and they come back and say, see, I have voted for the Congress. This is the level of education they have. Okay, I mean, I'm not making fun of these people, but I'm telling you, इतने मतलब भोले भाले लोग हैं, इनको ये चीजें समझ में नहीं आती हैं, तो इनके साथ फ्रॉड हो जाता है. ये फ्रॉड हो जाता है कि भाई if it is a good year wherein there is lot of harvest, then what will happen? The prices are going low, and the commitment which is there, let's say I say that I will buy your produce for 100 rupees, and then I as the company come back and say, you know what, this clause in the contract says that I am not obliged to buy your produce if the moisture content is high. Sorry, you know what, your moisture content is high, and I am left holding the produce. And similarly, if it is a good year, मतलब जब produce ज़्यादा नहीं है, तब वो कहेगा, oh, you know what, the maximum price that I can give you is only 100 rupees, ये contract में लिखा है, and he will make a killing. So you understand. So in either ways, whether it is a good year, whether it is a bad year, whether the produce is high, whether the produce is low, the farmer is going to be suffering. So this is some particular point. So again, coming back to what I was telling you about. Yeah, please.
So if I may, when you're talking about the innocence of the farmers, so recently we came across this case from Harda, Madhya Pradesh, where almost 22 farms were duped by the private traders.
Correct.
So they took this bill, they took this new law, and they said that now you don't have to go through the mandis. You can directly come to us. We can directly trade, and they offered them a price which was slightly higher than the MSP. So obviously they were attracted towards that. They sold them their crops, and at the time of presenting the check was bounced. So the farmers lost their crops and did not even get any returns. So
That's
what
right.
can be done about these
So
situations?
see, that is the problem. Now, thank you very much, Tanvi. She has taken us to a new area. The other problem with these bills is that, especially FPTC, is that they say that the jurisdiction of the SDM is gone. Oh, sorry, the jurisdiction of the local court is gone.
Civil court.
So now you have to go to the local SDM. Now the SDM is, as it is, overworked. His primary job is maintenance of law and order, carrying out development, conduct of elections. अभी तो इंडिया में पूरे 24 महीने 12 महीने इलेक्शन ही होता रहता है. मैंने जानबूझ के 24 महीने बोला, कभी पंचायत का, कभी नगर निगम का, कभी लोकसभा का, कभी विधानसभा का. पूरे टाइम तो इलेक्शन होता रहता है. मॉडल कोड ऑफ कंडक्ट हटता है, लगता है. So his primary job is now that model code, then development, then law and order, and a lot of other things. So he is tight. As per the new CRPC of 1973, he still has magistracy powers, but they are severely limited. And his experience of court this thing court work is only limited to simple things like uski bhais chura li, and uska land grabbing ho gaya. Not these are technical issues. He does not have the competence to decide these, and that is my view. And so the jurisdiction of the civil court being debarred, now this is again something which is serious. अभी वो क्या करेगा, कहाँ जाएगा? 138 negotiable instrument act के हम SDM को पता भी होगा. Is he competent to try cases under 138?
Exactly.
I'm not saying he may be educated enough. After all, he has cleared the civil service examination of the center or the state, but he may be competent. But the point is, tomorrow somebody will say that some smart company lawyer will say, "आपके पास तो power ही नहीं है." You see, so now what will you do in those kinds of situations? And now that you people, when you start going to court, once they open, you will find that in so many cases, CBI cases, etc., there are additional sessions judges who are appointed as special judge CBI court. रोज मैटर में डेट लगती रहती है. क्यों? क्योंकि पावर ही नहीं आई है. फर्स्ट टाइम आई हर्ड दिस वर्ड पावर नहीं आई है, आई थॉट ये वो हीमैन का केस है, पावर नहीं आई है. So that is, so delegation of powers has to happen, and that may not happen. There will be a lot of bureaucracy involved. That is why people say that ousting the jurisdiction of the civil courts in favor of the SDM is probably not a very good idea. So that's a very good interjection, by the way, Tanvi. Thank you. So coming back, friends, where I was talking about agricultural marketing and agricultural trade. So see, agriculture क्या होता है? Agriculture is everything. जैसे education क्या होता है? Instruction क्या होता है? Those of you who have studied that Rameshwari photocopy case, the instruction starts the moment the student enrolls in a particular class and ends when the student writes the examination. So similarly, agriculture starts from the time I prepare my field, I sow my seed, and everything till the time I sell the product in the market. And trade only begins after this produce is marketed. Now, this is the technicality. Do you think a farmer understands this? If you go by this technicality, then the center is within its rights to frame laws that promote barrier-free trade. But these can only be after the farmer has sold the produce. And क्या ये farmer को ये चीजें समझ में आएंगी? अब see, people say that there is no opposition except in Punjab and Haryana. This is motivated and Khalistani and this and that. I'm not getting into any of the politics. I mean, frankly speaking, you have been seeing the images on TV. I don't know if any of them look Khalistani. I don't even know what Khalistanis look like. I think they look like normal people. But leave aside the politics. What about, have you seen what onion traders or onion growers in Maharashtra are doing? They have been very, very clear in their mind that any kind of ban on exports and imposition of stock limits should not be done whenever retail prices go up. Whenever retail prices grow up, that is the time the onion farmer can see. This is what law is all about. Law is about a balance between the competing interests of different sections of society. सो आपका काम एज सरकार, फार्मर को भी कुछ मिलना चाहिए और कंज्यूमर का भी ध्यान रखना चाहिए. So if the retail price in the market goes up, what does the government do? It immediately bans exports and puts stock limits whenever retail prices go up. But these are all restrictions to trade. So if the central government can do this, then मतलब दोनों चीजें तो सही नहीं हो सकती ना. So, dismantling the monopoly of APMCs, farmers, especially in Punjab and Haryana, are of the opinion that freedom of choice is not really a choice. They will ultimately be given no choice, and they will be made stooges in the hands of the corporate private people. And this fear is not quite unfounded, frankly speaking. And I mean, farmer may not be very educated, but he understands jo uske, and like Tanvi said, these kind of things happen because the large corporates may or may not be unscrupulous. The small ones will definitely be unscrupulous, and the large ones will have a battery of lawyers. And while I am all for good business coming to lawyers as a result of litigation, it should not be at the cost of farmers who feed us. So The government procurement, the government policies in cases of paddy, wheat, pulses, other crops like groundnut, mustard, etc. All of this happens in mandis. Now, when more and more trading moves out of mandis, these mandis जहाँ पे कुछ तो लॉ चलता है, इन मंडीज को रेवेन्यू जो मंडी टैक्स है मिलना बंद हो जाएगा, मंडी टैक्स मिलना बंद हो जाएगा, ये सारे बंद हो जाएंगे. बट इवन इफ फॉर्मली बंद नहीं होंगे तो compete नहीं कर पाएंगे ना. मार्केट में BSNL compete कर पाता है क्या एयरटेल के साथ? Just answer. I'm simply asking you. Is BSNL able to compete with Airtel? Or is
Not,
BSNL able to compete with Jio?
not at all.
बस तो फिर रीजन उसका वही है कि बिकॉज सी दे मे नॉट बी द आइडियल बट सो ये सारे जो मार्केट यार्ड्स हैं जिनको हम APMCs कहते हैं, इनमें लोग नहीं बेचेंगे तो इनका और आर्थिक हालत खराब होगी, और आर्थिक हालत खराब होगी, सो देन दे विल नॉट बी एबल टू compete as it is. They may not be able to compete, but and if the government also stops buying, then these farmers will only be having to left with the option that they will have to sell to the big corporates, and that is where the exploitation will start.
Another problem is that FTCP ad provides ki jo buyer hai, he only needs a PAN card to buy the stuff.
Correct.
And this has actually MP के case में this is one of the major issues कि
तो पैन कार्ड बनवाने में कौन सी देर है? I can tell you there is a senior IAS officer in Uttar Pradesh. He was found with 46 PAN cards in his own name. There was one gentleman in Chhattisgarh who was again a senior IAS officer. He had 200 PAN cards in his own name, and he had got the PAN cards of all the local farmers by telling them that तुम्हारा bank account खुलवाएंगे, and he had been opening bank accounts and salting away his own money in their cases. It is that easy or that difficult to do it, and all the corporates or all the individuals will come and do these kind of things and unscrupulous things. You are right, absolutely. Now, obviously, if you are not going to be procuring, so Cargill Foods or ITC Foods or Reliance or Ambani or XYZ, when they are procuring wheat and rice, they will not give it to you for PDS. They will use it for making cornflakes and muesli. Why will they give it to you for PDS? सो गवर्नमेंट का अगर मार्केट में किसान लेके नहीं आएगा, APMC में लेके नहीं आएगा, कॉन्ट्रैक्ट फार्मिंग में बेच देगा, तो आपका PDS में तो ऑब्वियसली असर पड़ेगा. मे नॉट बी इन द शॉर्ट टर्म बिकॉज राइट नाउ यू हैव 2-3 years बफर स्टॉक, बट व्हाट विल यू डू आफ्टर 5 years? Population is increasing. Area for cultivation you cannot increase beyond a point. How will you increase? Now let us move on to the issue which I have with regards to, I'm conscious I have around 15 more minutes. So what do you do about the procurement policy of the government? The procurement policy of the government, like I told you, announcing MSPs for multiple crops, but concentrating only on millets, mainly wheat and rice, and in some states mustard, etc. But see, because of this, what you have been doing, your MSP has been high, and your emphasis. See, farmer को आपने जिस चीज का MSP दिया, जो चीज आप procure करते हैं, जो उसको guarantee है, वो उसी तरह का crop बेचता है. So similarly, you will find that in Punjab, Haryana, the paddy cultivation leads to various problems. Now, what all are the problems that it leads to? First of all, that best quality paddy is not being sold in India. In the form of basmati, it is going abroad, and along with it, what is going abroad? India ka groundwater is going abroad. India ki power subsidy is going abroad. So you know what the situation is, because power is free for agriculture. Farmers don't even put taps. Yes, I am serious. Taps भी नहीं लगाते हैं. ट्यूबवेल से पानी निकल रहा है, वो टैप भी नहीं लगाते हैं, और वो पूरे टाइम पानी बहता रहता है. तभी तो लीचिंग हो जाती है. इतना ज्यादा पानी और इतना ज्यादा केमिकल फर्टिलाइजर सॉइल में लीचिंग हो जाती है. राइट, वाटर टेबल लो हो जाता है क्योंकि आपने पैडी वाटर इंटेंसिव क्रॉप होता है, वो लो हो जाता है. फिर जो है आपको जल्दी जल्दी होता है, हार्ड वर्किंग पीपल, और वो सॉइल फर्टाइल होता है, तो जल्दी जल्दी उसको हार्वेस्ट करना है. तो एक लैंड में जहाँ पे बाकी जगह 2 क्रॉप होते हैं, या बहुत सारी जगह इंडिया में देयर इज ओनली 1 क्रॉप इन अ ईयर, मे बी 2 क्रॉप्स इन अ ईयर. इन पंजाब हरियाणा नाउ यू आर ग्रोइंग 4 क्रॉप्स इन अ ईयर. दो छोटे crops and दो बड़े crops. So you are doing that. So you have to prepare the field immediately for the next crop. तो आप क्या करते हैं? Mechanical harvester combine बुलाते हैं, उसमें से stubble छूट जाता है, 2 फुट के stubble को आप जला देते हैं. So you are having environmental pollution, you are losing your groundwater, you are losing your water subsidy, you are losing your power subsidy, and you are getting free pollution. So because of flawed procurement policies, farmers should be encouraged through MSP regime, through procurement. MSP announce करने से कुछ नहीं होता, उस MSP पे procurement भी करिए. फार्मर शुड बी इंकरेज्ड कि भाई आप दूसरे तरह के क्रॉप्स ग्रो करिए, कभी मटर उगा लीजिए, कभी कुछ और उगा लीजिए, एंड हम खरीदेंगे उसको, राइट? जस्ट लाइक यू आर प्रोक्योरिंग दिस थिंग. वहां पे क्यों नहीं कोई कॉन्ट्रैक्ट फार्मिंग करता? कॉन्ट्रैक्ट फार्मिंग करनी वहां कर लीजिए, उन क्रॉप्स में कर लीजिए. या फिर maybe even government can start doing it. Why not Mother Dairy can start procuring directly from the farmers? I'm just giving suggestions. Okay. So now the
So one thing,
yeah, please.
sir, if the procurement policy is actually the problem, then one of the major demands of the farmers is that there should be a legislation on MSP. Then will it be of any benefit or advantage to the farmers other than the farmers in Haryana or Punjab, like the small farmers from other states? Will it be of any benefit if there comes a legislation on MSP?
See, Tanavi, I really don't know. I mean, it's a mixed view with regards to MSP, because, like I said, the Shanta Kumar committee. Shanta Kumar was a former food minister, former chief minister of Himachal Pradesh, and this said that MSP benefits only very few farmers. And right now, 23-24 commodities के लिए announce करते हैं. But the point is, उस commodity उस price पे खरीदते नहीं है ना. Governments are not buying it. So if the government start buying it, then maybe it makes sense. Otherwise, it will just remain an announcement which is there. And yes, if you were to start diversifying and governments were to start buying it, let's say ginger, or let's say we are very short in pulses. I mean, our protein component is a problem because large parts are vegetarian. So maybe arhar dal, right? These kind of things, urad dal, masoor dal. We start procuring these kind of things, and then MSP makes sense. Otherwise, in the absence of government procurement, MSP does not quite make sense to me, because see, you are telling the farmer, okay, 250 rupees, but you are not procuring. Now and there is no enforcement mechanism right now that Mr. X, if he wishes to procure, he will procure at 250 only. Okay, now supposing the government is not procuring and you announce MSP and you make it a mandatory legal requirement. The point is, I don't know, it is worth experimenting, but my guess is what will happen in and I'm basing this based on what is already happening. You will make an MSP now, and you are not procuring, and the private players, they will say that okay, fine, this is the MSP, we will give you MSP, we will give you 10 rupees more than MSP, but these are the requirements that we have. Now that requirement will be such that the farmer will not be able to meet it in terms of FAQ norms, fair average quality norms, and then he or she will be forced to make a distress sale below MSP, right? So that is the problem.
I
So
believe that is one of the apprehensions of farmers in regards to
yes,
the big corporations, that
that's right.
they will be held back on one way or another. Let it be
Yes,
quality that does not meet
yes,
the quality
absolutely,
standards,
absolutely.
so
I've
we
seen
can't
that.
pay you the amount.
Absolutely, I've seen that happening whenever government does not procure, the private players do not procure at all. Even in the present regime, the private players procure well above MSP also. But that is only because government is procuring at MSP. So Cargill Foods does procurement for gehu, and ITC does procurement of gehu from farms in Punjab, in Haryana, in Western UP, etc. But they pay even more than MSP. But that is only because government is procuring at MSP.
Yes.
So they have to outdo the government. They get the best quality stuff. Huh? They get stuff which is, the farmer also knows his stuff is better than the others. So that's why he sells to them.
So it's the apprehensions of the farmers is right.
Absolutely. 101%.
So
They are not apprehensions, they are facts according to me. As somebody who has studied industry for about 25 years. I think they are absolutely correct. And today we have found that one of the members, Mr. Maan, he has quit the committee because he has publicly supported the laws. If you are publicly supporting the laws, then what kind of negotiations are you going to be committing? I mean, it's not for me to speak on something which the Supreme Court has appointed, but why not people like Sainath? Why not, people who are leading agricultural economists? I mean, why not Amartya Sen? Why not somebody like that?
Devinder Sharma would be a good one.
Anybody, because I mean, you have got people who have been publicly supporting Mr. Gulati. Professor Gulati have been known supporter of this particular provision. Maybe he's convinced with it, maybe he has his ideology, that's fine, but one should always, Caesar's wife should be above suspicion वाली बात होती है. Committee अगर आपने बनाई है, पहली बात तो. Now let us move on to that the last couple of points which I have. And the Supreme Court has made certain observations in this case, and there are very interesting observations actually. And because they are, first of all, they have appointed a committee. See, like Abhishek was saying in the opening remarks, yeah, they have not gone ahead and stayed the legislation. They have not gone into the merits. They have not said that the legislation is ultra wires or intra wires. They have simply gone ahead and stayed the gazette notification, which is the implementation, which is the executive part, which is the execution of these. So that is the problem, and it is not the the whole the part of the law which is being stayed. So that is something which has been done for the first time. This will create bad precedents according to me, simply because people will I mean, for everything run to the Supreme Court. According to me, it is going to be a bad precedent. And because they have exercised something called extraordinary power. Can laws passed by Parliament be put on hold by the judiciary? Is it a case of judicial overreach? So this is something for people to decide on their own. I'm not going to speak about that, but I'm just leaving some questions before you, some food for thought before you. Um, we know that the doctrine of judicial review is there, laid down in Marbury versus Madison, that the court can declare a law to be ultra vires if it finds that it is unconstitutional. But can the court temporarily stay enforcement, even without recording a finding that the law is actually incorrect? I mean, the center should only decide about the legality. The the court should not be coming into this, because in a democracy, the lawmaking is actually the domain of the parliament. Judiciary is, in my view, in this case, acted like a panchayat. So this should not be the case, because tomorrow people will start accusing the judiciary of overreach, and this may have a wrong impression on the Montague's model, which we have, Montague-Chelmsford reforms wala model, that the constitution is based on the broad tenet of separation of powers between executive, legislature, and judiciary. This balance may be upset. And I was reading Justice Kardju this morning. He has said that very clear, we all know this, that when Parliament makes a law, how can the law be suspended or how can the law be repealed? Parliament has to make another such law. Court cannot stay the operation. That is without precedents in Indian judiciary for the last 70 years. Courts cannot stay the operation. This will be amounting to thwarting the will of the people, right, Skarju? And each of the organ is sovereign within its own, what do you call, domain. And in my view, it sets a bad precedent for 4, 5, 6 reasons. It is a signal that, if you are any pressure group, you can make the government rescind the law passed by Parliament. Whether we like it or not, it has been passed by due process. And the demands will be met if there is disruption. एंड देन जुडिशरी का जो काम है वो स्क्रूटनाइज करना है, वो तो इन्होंने किया नहीं, मेरिट्स पे डिसीजन दे देते. एंड आपको कोई सा भी लॉ पसंद नहीं है, इनकम टैक्स पसंद नहीं है, आप एक रोड पे ब्लॉक कर लीजिए, आपको नेगोशिएटिंग प्लेटफॉर्म मिल जाएगा. गवर्नमेंट कहते हैं कि भाई हमें रिफॉर्म करना है, रिफॉर्म करना है, रिफॉर्म आप करने नहीं देते, बिकॉज एवरीबडी को आप हैप्पी नहीं कर सकते डेमोक्रेसी में. And CJI has gone so far as saying that एक भी petition हमारे पास ऐसा नहीं है that the laws are beneficial to the farmers. So that is the same thing with so many other laws. That is the same thing with regards to GST. Why did you have GST then? Everybody was saying that GST is not good. So GST क्यों allow कर दिया? Now, on the other side, I have certain points which will justify maybe or try to. I mean, I'm just trying to give you arguments on both sides. So, सुप्रीम कोर्ट के पास अगर 137 में पावर है तो वो 142 में भी पावर है. वो कुछ नया रिलीफ बना के दे सकते हैं, जैसे कि उन्होंने राम जन्मभूमि वाले केस में किया. So that kind of power to give special relief जो पूछा नहीं है वो दे दिया, ऐसा भी हो सकता है. So maybe the intentions are noble, and but the point is the court has made itself a panchayat, made itself a negotiator, constituted a committee for breaking the deadlock, and the composition of the committee, to my mind, leaves a lot to be decided. And maybe the means are right, but is it the way to do things in a democracy? That is for you to decide. And again, I'm saying that the Supreme Court has said in their order that we are only staying the executive action, and we are not saying anything about the law. I will leave you with the last point of my discussion that, and I am exactly on time. I will just overstretch by 2 or 3 minutes. In Amit Sani versus Commissioner of Police, which is the Shaheen Bagh case, the court had come down like a ton of bricks on the protesters. Now, if you have to have the doctrine of stare decisis, which means that the law should be clearly enunciated so that there is no confusion with regards to the law. वहाँ पे उन्होंने clear बोला कि भाई democracy में protest करने का अधिकार है, but इस तरह से नहीं road block करके. अब यहाँ पे आप दूसरी बात बोल रहे हैं. I am reading from the page number 11, para number 15 of the judgment passed by the Honorable Court, and wherein they have given the matter, and it has again been listed after 8 weeks, by the way. We may not trifle a peaceful protest. We think that this extraordinary power or extraordinary order. Now, what are the circumstances for an extraordinary order? Which order qualifies, which situation qualifies for an extraordinary order? थोड़ा 4 लाइन लिख देते कि extraordinary क्यों है. Stay of implementation of farm laws will be perceived as an achievement of the purpose of such protest, for at least for the present, and will encourage the farmer bodies to convince their members to get back to their livelihood, both in order to protect their lives and health and in order to protect the lives of others. वो कहते हैं भाई आपको protest करना है, करते रहो, but हमें लगता है कि अब आपको हमने फेस सेवर दे दिया है. दिस इज व्हाट द लैंग्वेज मींस. दिस इज एन एक्स्ट्राऑर्डिनरी ऑर्डर. हमने आपको फेस सेवर दे दिया, अब वापस चले जाओ. Now, this is not the way, according to me, that the Supreme Court is, negotiating, and Supreme Court is making itself a party to the litigation, and the Supreme Court is basically saying that, look, we have given you something. The end of your the purpose of your is met. Scale down your protest. Stop your protest. या तो बोल देते protest illegal है, या बोल देते protest करते रहो. So this is what I have to say on the points that we had earmarked. Now it is open to you, Tanavi, if there is anything that you have from your side, I believe, or anything which the participants have.
Just one thing that I wanted to ask, sir. Tanavi, just I'll take just
Yeah,
one
sure.
second. On that point, just extrapolating your point, आपने जब कहा था कि क्योंकि कई सारी crops हैं जिसमें कि government is procuring at MSP, so the private players.
No, Abhishek, I'll just interrupt you. Government announces MSP for around 23-24 crops, but in reality, in different states, they may be procuring only for very few, 4 or 5. Bulk is wheat and paddy.
Yeah. So extrapolating on that point, so just mentioning the views of the fanboys of the government, कि due to green revolution, जो ये water intensive crops introduce हुई थी, farmers need to change their farming pattern so that कि उनके soil की quality, जो उनके water की quality है, वो retain हो सके. But एक पॉजिटिव रीइंफोर्समेंट की बहुत ज़्यादा ज़रूरत है इंडिया में। फिर अगर आप सिमिलर सिचुएशन को अगर हम यूरोप में या फिर हम यूएस के पर्सपेक्टिव में देखें, तो वहाँ की फार्मिंग जो इंडस्ट्री है वो थ्राइव ही इस वजह से करती है कि गवर्नमेंट बहुत ज़्यादा अमाउंट ऑफ positive reinforcement देती है in terms of subsidies to the farmers.
Absolutely, very good point. And in fact, those of us who are crying about subsidy bill and all, see, you have to understand India is a very large country, so that is why in absolute numbers the subsidy appears to be very large. In trips, जब तक ये बोलते रहते थे कि I mean that's the game which these large players always play. Indian farmer को मिलने वाली सब्सिडी पे तो रोते हैं, और अमेरिकन फार्मर को, ऑस्ट्रेलियन फार्मर को और यूरोपियन फार्मर को जो सब्सिडी मिलती है उसके बारे में क्यों नहीं बोलते? Obviously, there is a lot of positive reinforcement. There is a lot of subsidies which are given. The subsidy which an American farmer gets is probably God knows how many times the number of subsidy which every Indian farmer gets. Yes, otherwise agriculture will not be remunerative. As simple as that. I mean, वो mechanization वगैरह देते हैं. So government has to give positive this thing, no doubt. It has to be a carrot and stick kind of a thing. आप लोगों को मटर के दाने कल्टीवेट करने के लिए दीजिए, आप लोगों को आलू कल्टीवेट करने के लिए दीजिए. You ask people to keep changing the cropping pattern. That is good, but yes, I totally agree with you on that, Abhishek.
And Tanvi, just one more thing. यहाँ पे farmers को सब्सिडी क्या देनी है? इनको commercial players बनाना चाहते हैं, electricity bill लाके और पराली के लिए 1 करोड़ का फाइन लगाना चाहते हैं.
By the way, that is the only thing which I think this agitation has so far accomplished, that burning of stubble has been decriminalized. That is probably the only thing which so far has been accomplished. So,
Tanvi, go ahead, please. Sorry.
Sir, while we are talking about the subsidies, so it is said कि government को और ज़्यादा subsidies देनी चाहिए. But at the same time, there is some international pressure from WTO that MSP जो है, that should not exceed your 10% of the production cost. So how can India balance international obligations of free trade under WTO and at the same time balance?
Very good question, Tanvi. Very, very good question. Now, see, we have to simply be smart. We have to affray our costs in the name of infrastructure. अमेरिका में ऐसे ही करते हैं. Village infrastructure, farm infrastructure, rural roads, इन सब के नाम पे वो सब्सिडी देते हैं. Right? And if you have good roads, obviously the tractor का wear and tear कम होगा, tractor जल्दी पहुंच जाएगा. If you have good farmers, incidentally, you ask any farmer, they don't want free electricity. They want good quality electricity. They want electricity जिसका wattage अच्छा हो. They want electricity जो 18 घंटे आए. Anybody can correct me. I mean, those of you who are from farming communities or from small towns, farmers are not the ones that I know. Nobody wants free electricity unless they are very, very poor, right? So
they were just giving an example of farmers of Greater Noida. They don't even want. They don't care about if the electricity is paid or not. They'll steal it anyways.
I was about to say, चोरी कर लेंगे, कटिया डाल लेंगे, है ना? So, yeah. So there is a movie which is made on this, based in Kanpur, called Katiyabaz. Okay, so the wire, that's called Katiya. Okay, it's a typical UP term. So yeah, and see, so the 10% of the cost is absolutely right. But in these societies, the cost of rural roads, the cost of sewage, the cost of infrastructure in mandis, ये सब तो include नहीं करते ना. हम लोग ये सब कर सकते हैं अपने farmers के लिए. उनको टेक्निकल नो हाउ दे सकते हैं. आज भी जो यंग फार्मर्स हैं वो तो गूगल से वेदर देख लेते हैं. बाकी आप वेदर के क्या इनपुट प्रोवाइड करते हो फार्मर को? समथिंग एज बेसिक एज दैट. See, the young farmers have access to internet and they look at Google weather. But as the state agriculture department, as the weather forecasting, which is very important for farmers, they should be given a daily forecast. आप क्या forecast देते हो और कौन से medium से देते हो? So these are things.
Yes. So talking about the committee, like we just discussed that the manner and the members of the committee, it's a bit questionable. So one member has already recused himself. Now the remaining 3 members, their stand is also clear that somehow they are in favor of agricultural reforms and laws. So we have a basic tenet in law that justice must not only be done, but also seem to be done. So, in the light of all these, how can the farmers approach the committee with a neutral mind that they will get the justice or they will be heard properly if they already have an apprehension on their minds of some kind of bias?
So very good, Tanavi. That's what I was saying when I was talking about the change of land use in Haryana and the grant of that huge grain silos in Moga. This is optics. Justice should not only be done; it should also be seen to be done. That is the basic tenet of. I mean, when you study natural justice, you know nemo judex in causa sua. You study presumption against bias, you study audi alterum partem. Presumption against bias means justice should be done, it should also be seen to be done. Now if three people have publicly endorsed that these farm laws are very good, there is probably no point in going and speaking to those people. That is why the farmers, they already knew, and that's why they said we will not appear before any committee. See, please note the timeline. The farmers' unions have been saying all through that, look, we will not appear before any committee. And next day, at that time, one would have thought that farmers are being rather stupid. अभी कमिटी बनाइए, इसके सामने जाओ, बात हमेशा करते रहना चाहिए, etc., etc. But next day, when you knew who the committee was, I think the farmers were absolutely right. I would also not go and speak to somebody when it's a waste of my time. See, something very basic. I mean, if Gurkaran is my friend, and if you have a complaint against Gurkaran and you come to me, and you know Gurkaran is my friend, will you come to me? You will not.
Yes, sir.
You will want to go to some other authority.
Yes, sir.
है ना? So this is basically, I mean, presumption against bias, and that's why they're all within their rights, the farmers, to not appear before this committee. And I think this committee will not accomplish much. I'll be very happy if the deadlock is broken, because these poor farmers, they are sitting outside in 1 degree, 2 degree, and I mean, we find it difficult to even go for a walk. And think of the fact that these old men, young men, children, women, they are all sitting, having their baths, doing everything in 1 degrees, 2 degrees temperature, and they are going back and coming back. Somebody is attending to the fields. Relay race kind of a thing is happening. So some kind of a deadlock should be broken, and at an early stage, because otherwise, all over the world, by the way, wherever farmers start protesting, democracy gets rocked. In Belgium, farmers have thrown milk on the road. In Argentina, they have thrown tomatoes on the road, and every time either the government falls or something major happens. So farmers, I think, as a community, you really cannot afford to upset in a democracy. So that is my view. Maybe somebody is briefing the government incorrectly. Maybe there is some communication gap. I don't know what is the problem, but I don't see this kind of thing, and I don't see that, frankly speaking, the role played by the Supreme Court, I don't think it is really good. That's my view.
And then they are being labeled as Khalistanis.
No, that is all. See, people will talk a lot of nonsense in a democracy. Everybody has a right to talk a lot of nonsense, I suppose. So, it is just. I mean, it's just nonsense, I would say. But then I suppose you have a right to talk nonsense. And see, at the ground level, I can tell you. I mean, I also know some people who have been my students, and now they are MLAs in Haryana. They cannot even go to their constituencies. पिटाई हो रही है. And they are being beaten up because they are part of the ruling alliance. They cannot even go to they switch off their mobile phones, and when they switch on their mobile phones, gali padti hai, dhar, dhar, dhar. Somebody from the constituency is calling up. And people in Haryana, their language is rather colorful. So, that is what is happening. I mean, that is the ground reality which I see. Everybody sees different ground realities. So, yes, please.
Yes, sir. So, matlab, if we are already agreeing that the farmers decide not to go before the committee, so keeping into mind that this is an order of the Supreme Court, can they be held in contempt?
I don't think so. No. Nobody can force anybody to go before any committee. No. Nobody can force. I don't want to go there. Then what can you do? Tomorrow Supreme Court can definitely order that. Okay, Amit Sani, now okay, remove the farmers from here. That Supreme Court can do. As it is, you are seeing what is happening in the southern. See, very interesting. In the northern borders of Haryana, in Singhu border, that is only one place where the Haryana police is barricaded. In the southern borders of Haryana, this Gurgaon district and Rewari district, the entire place is free for all. कभी जाके देखिए या किसी न्यूज़पेपर उठा के देख लीजिए, आपको पता चल जाएगा दिल्ली से जयपुर, जयपुर से दिल्ली आने में 8-9 घंटे लगते हैं अभी, क्योंकि हर जगह सारी हाईवे बंद कर दी। Now my point is, can the police do this? And it is so dangerous, loss of life. I mean, everybody is coming from the wrong side at night at the speed of 100 kmph, and people are going through the village roads which have also been blocked. I mean, it's absolutely crazy, right?
Yes.
So yeah. So but what do I see that something will happen in this particular areas? I think that at some point there will have to be a face saver for the government and for the farmers, and I hope that it comes at an early time, because it has already been 1.5 months and it is absolutely the dead of winter. So North Indian winter will continue for another 2 months, and and then agriculture will suffer. I don't want all of those things to happen. And
Yes, sir.
after all, farmers are the backbone for anybody in any society. I mean, you may be kitna bhi developed, if you don't have food, then it is not going to give you anything.
So
Just
is it not an option to consider the reconstitution of the committee with
That
different members so that the
I think that
farmers
is a good option, but maybe now we want the Supreme Court to decide everything. So maybe Supreme Court will have to do it.
maybe a petition has to be filed to
Yes,
the
maybe
Supreme Court for the
reconstitution, that could be something, because and then farmers should see, in my view, farmers should be willing to talk, but they will be willing to talk only if they feel that somebody who जिसको ये सुन सकते हैं उनके सामने ही जाना. And I think right now, since the farm laws have been suspended, there is no harm in talking, and that basically is me. But and I just want see, I don't have any political ideology, but when the government says that we have consulted 1 lakh stakeholders, I would seriously want somebody to file an RTI and ask who are the people that you consulted, when did you
was
consult,
that
was
RTI
it
was
was it
passed.
was so that's what I'm saying. Was where was the and they replied that we don't have the answers. I mean, we do
No
not have
record
any
found.
information. Yeah. So where were the consultations held? Which committee room? Was it done online? During COVID, how did you hold consultations? So those answers should be sought. So इस तरह का छूट मेरे हिसाब से तो बोलना नहीं चाहिए.
Then
Anyway,
RTI was
The
actually
consult
one which came with the reply that no records are found. The
exactly,
government
because there would be no
actually
records.
claimed that they have consulted with a lot of farmers before passing the laws, and now with the formation of the committee, the consultations are being done now after the law was passed, after the implementation was stayed, and now the consultations which are
But that's
done.
exactly my point. You have said, and it is not just senior government ministers have said that more than 1 lakh farmers were consulted. Who are the 1 lakh farmers? How did you consult them? When did you consult them? What was the medium of consultation? Was it obviously consultations were in writing? So where is the writing? Where is the minutes of the meeting? If you consulted on Zoom, where is the Zoom meeting record?
No records.
So no records, because there no records exist. See, if you go every other place where laws are made, I mean even in India, there's something as simple as environmental impact assessment, relatively
Yes.
very unimportant as compared to this. You ask for stakeholder consultation, list it on the website. You put a big notice that you send your comments in writing to Mr. XYZ, or you upload it on the website, or you send it by letter, or you meet Mr. XYZ in room number so and so building on such and such date, such and such time. So that is what is done normally. I mean, you just don't pass laws. So this is equivalent to first passing a law and then first shooting and then saying, "Acha koi mara to nahi." It's like that, in my view.
So
I
just to
think
correct,
that
protests are being held for 4 months, not 1.5.
Okay, so but I'm saying at the Delhi borders 1.5 months. In Punjab, he's right. In Punjab, the protests have been going on since September. Actually, he's right. So
on just a lighter note, ये consultations बिल्कुल वैसे हैं जैसे यूनिवर्सिटी ऑफ दिल्ली ने OB implement करने से पहले स्टूडेंट के साथ करी थी. Then those committees were found to be illegal. There were no consultations. There was nothing, and at the end, result हमारे सामने.
yes, I agree.
just reflects bad that you're consulting the stakeholders after you have passed the law, after there
That is,
have been
yes,
so much
I agree.
agitation, which should
I
have
agree.
been done earlier technically.
And then why should people lie and say that, I mean, such senior authorities, I don't think there is any reason to say that 1 lakh people were consulted. And I don't know. But is थोड़ा सोच के बोलना चाहिए ना कि भाई कोविड के टाइम 1 लाख आपने कंसल्ट कैसे कर लिए और कहाँ है उसका रिकॉर्ड? बना ही देते रिकॉर्ड.
Webinars कह रहे हैं.
Okay, thank you so much, sir. I'll hand over to Gurkaran, who will take the questions from the audience.
Sure. Thank you very much, Tanvi. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
So before I take the questions, there is some personal thing which I would want to share. That's a ground report because I have been on board for 3 to 4 days.
नहीं 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 आप स्टेक होल्डर नहीं हो, गुरकरण रहने दो आप.
नहीं, just to say that. But it is important that their point of view also comes back. So there's a report which says that Punjab, which is considered to be a prosperous state for farmers, has a yearly income of 2,14,000. Haryana has an income of 1,96,000 and Bihar has an income of 42,000 per year. So when you compare this income to that of a government employee, the government employee income has increased by 400% from 1975, and this is a stated fact. Now the farmers are complaining that when the income of a government employee has increased so much, why should the farmer suffer? And second thing which I would like to share, that there is a lot of anger on the ground. And the government is sitting on an item bomb, which is not religion.
Yes, I can also vouch because I have told you my students who are now MLAs, one or two of them, they are saying that, sir, we cannot even go to our constituencies. People are beating us up. Chief Minister is being shown black flags, but हमारे वो तो Chief Minister है, हम तो MLA हैं, तो हमारे पास तो पुलिस भी नहीं होती, तो पकड़ के मारते हैं.
And just to add that, can I ask a question? How do you see the role of media in this? Because you also teach media law. And there is the need to pass a legislation against the media as well, because the misreporting is, I guess,
yes. This is a problem, Gurkaran. Thank you for highlighting it. The media has to be responsible. There have been now the problem is anytime you try to make laws for regulation of media, the media will immediately come and say 19(1)(a) is being violated. Now, guidelines were passed. I don't know if you recall when 26/11 took place. At that time, the media was reporting live. Oh, this is the terrorist. Oh, this is the terrorist, and all leading media personnel. No names need to be taken, and they were all, oh, this is the terrorist here. And sitting in the neighboring country, the handlers were watching those news reports, and they were in touch with the terrorist on satellite phones. Now, how dumb is that? There is no other word for it. Right. So live events. So after that, guidelines were framed as to how you will be tackling live events. Number one. Number two, this fake news, I think, is becoming a very big problem. Ganesh ji ki murti doodh pi rahi hai. This is where it starts, and then it goes to any kind of limit that these farmers, there are Khalistanis. If there are so, then why should the government of India not identify? I've been hearing this for 3 months now, that there are Khalistanis and there are this and that. So why not find it out? It is not difficult. You have Delhi police with you, you have MHA with you have state police with you have intelligence, you have FCRA, finances are being tracked. So why don't you check all of that? Why do you spreading a canard? This is in English, it is called first you kill a dog and then you give him a bad name. वो ठंड में बंदा बैठा है और उसको आप खालिस्तानी बोल रहे हो, तो मतलब अगर है तो बिल्कुल पनिश करो, खालिस्तानी है तो बिल्कुल पनिश करो, बट करो तो फाइंड आउट तो करो. So
Sir, even sir, sorry to disturb. Even in the
no,
Sushant
please.
Sir, even in the Sushant Singh Rajput case, Mumbai court highly criticized the media for the same, because guidelines were again issued for the same, and the case has been going on. So the media role is very
That's right.
critical in these issues.
I
So
absolutely
I do
agree with you. Sushant Singh Rajput is another case. You can have a complete webinar on that. That how it was mishandled and how Bihar police wanted to get limelight, and how Bombay police wanted to get limelight, and how CBI wanted to come in, and basically the role of the media. Nobody has covered themselves with glory. So media also sensationalizes everything. Now tell me something basic. Forget law, forget ethics, forget everything. Basic common sense. कोई आदमी मरा है, चाहे उसने सुसाइड किया, चाहे उसको किसी ने मारा है, is it good to show a dead man with strangulation marks on his neck? Is it good to do that in the name of TRP? And people like us has also been people like us have also been sharing those images on WhatsApp. I have a faculty colleague in law faculty who has been sharing those on WhatsApp. And I had to tell her, madam, please don't do this. Have some respect for the dead. So these things, yes, of course, media is responsible, and we have to have ways and means to keep some guidelines, some press council intervention without trampling on the power of independent media should be brought
Yeah, it's like news anchors have better sources than IB and Raw. पहले उन्हें पता लग जाता है.
Sir,
in.
I have a question
Yes,
before
yes,
we
Tanya.
conclude, as we are approaching the conclusion of this
Yes, yes.
session.
There are just a few questions. I think
There are a lot of
Sheetal and Karthik. Yeah, some people have just. Yes, Tanya.
That everything is uncertain. You don't know what is really cooking up in the government's head and what holds ahead. But what do you think is the dead end to this? Will it be a dead end, or there is a way ahead to the whole situation? Will this ever stop? There are farmers who are already dying because of the sea, because of the climate. They are taking, they are suiciding. The economy is suffering in the few days. What will happen? You won't have मंडीज में होंगे farmers अगर वहाँ पे they're not working only. How will you get food?
That's
What
the
is the
problem.
end solution to this? We are seeing the end slowly and slowly. We are seeing it.
So see, Tanya, I mean, I really can't second guess what either side is going to do. But what I would want is, yes, I think for starters there should be a reconstitution of that committee, and you should have new people on that committee who are actually experts and who are neutral, and there should be some sincere, serious attempts because see now what happens in this is a mass protest. Please make no bones about it. It is not Congress, Communist, XYZ. It is nobody. These people are listening to nobody. This is a leaderless protest of the farmers. It is every individual farmer who has gone there. I have personally gone there. I have personally seen that इनका कोई लीडर नहीं है. ये सब अपने अपने ट्रैक्टर उठा के दिल्ली चल रहे हैं. इनको बस ये बता दिया है कि भाई इट इज नाउ और नेवर, और ये आ गए. ठीक है, इनका कोई लीडर नहीं है. Please, so that is so it is a leaderless mob which does not really listen to anybody. But the whole thing is that the negotiation should not stop. Now that the laws are suspended, there must be a relook, there must be stakeholder consultation, and if at all these laws are needed and if they are found to be useful, maybe they can be, especially the contentious portions, they can be relooked at and they can be implemented in a phase wise manner. That would be my suggestion. Now, I sincerely hope all of this happens early because, like you said, there are going to be problems if this lingers on.
But sir, how do we really decide and how do we give that satisfaction to the farmers that the committee now is formed is not biased and the government is not driving them? All of
See,
us.
unfortunately, I would not be in a position to give them that satisfaction because I myself am not satisfied. I think that the committee members are not above board. I mean, in the sense that they are all experts in their right, but then having publicly supported, how can you? So it's the same thing, no? If I am Gurkaran's friend and you have a problem with him, why will you come to me? You will go to somebody else. Because यहाँ तो मुझे justice मिलेगा ही नहीं. That is the mindset. If I myself believe that, I will not be able to convince anybody else than that.
Agreed.
So,
No?
sir, there is a question from Sheetal Gehlot, and which is a quite interesting one. She is saying that, do you think that clause by clause discussion on each and every provision of farm laws as suggested by the government would help farmers? Is there a middle ground?
I think so. That see, the first thing is to get it suspended, which I think the farmers have achieved. Now, if there is a new committee, the farmers should sit. This is my advice. If I were to advise the farmers, this is what I would do: is that now that the laws have been suspended, you please sit with the government and do a clause by clause discussion, which the government has been saying from the very beginning, and you do the thing. And if you find anything. You can come out, and this is what stakeholder consultation is all about.
Okay, so this is a question from Vishal, and he is asking, sir, any act has its pros and cons. but it is the right way to be so adamant that you will have to repeal the act by any hook or crook.
Now, see, it is difficult to answer this. Lawmaking itself is flawed. Now, two wrongs do not make a right, unfortunately. If the law has been made by the government of the day in an incorrect manner, then should the farmers also be adamant? I mean, you can answer it yes, you can answer it no. Unfortunately, in today's democratic system today's time that we have, actually the society in India is becoming increasingly fractured, be it on religious lines, be it on social lines, be it on occupation lines. There is a lot of distrust. You see a taxi driver, he'll say "Padhe likhe log," as if padhe likhe log are bad people, right? They just don't like each other. There is a distrust, there is a fracture in society. So the government does not trust the farmers do not trust the government. The government has obviously made a mistake by not having stakeholder consultation or not having adequate stakeholder consultation. That is my view. Now, similarly, the farmers say that, okay, now till we don't trust you at all, you first withdraw, then we will talk. So, whether it is the right way to do things, I don't know. But is it the only way to do things? Probably in a fractured society, this is how you proceed. So it is difficult to, answer these type of questions, but it is an unfortunate development, definitely. Yes.
So another question is that the is
and
there a
and having to look at it, you can look at it from another side. Now, this is Gandhi's country. Have the protests been violent at any point of time, despite attempts to instigate? They have not been violent for 2 months. This is Gandhi's country. Can you ask anybody to stop protesting? The answer is no. By Gandhi ji got you independence by protesting. So in Gandhi's country, you cannot say that protesting is illegal. That is why we allow law faculty students to protest for everything. Tomorrow they can protest and say, look, we don't want invigilators in the exam. Even for that, they will protest. We will allow that protest also.
But we won't still get case match.
No, they are available. After we have
But you won't get
graduated, now
them.
case mats are now available in the faculty.
Online, yeah.
So there's another question which is
Yeah.
quite interesting. This is question say that is there a chance that private players will dictate the kind of crops that are grown in India as no longer the run for commercial gains and it might ruin the farmers and their land with time?
So this is a very good question, which is there.
Sheetal, which Sheetal
Yeah.
had asked.
So yeah. So this is a very good question by Sheetal, and these countries, banana companies, which are, I'm telling you something which you may or may not know. Banana companies, which are typically American or Canadian owned, they are running the show. And they are so powerful. They run schools, they run hospitals, they run everything. They decide who will be defense minister, who will be home minister, who will be health minister, who will be prime minister. Assassination करवा देते हैं, मरवा देते हैं, सब कुछ होता रहता है. And so that is why coup after coup after coup, this is all done by banana companies. That is why these countries are called banana republics. I am not saying we will get there, but banana republics may banana countries companies control everything. So similarly, if you start having this kind of contract farming without any checks and balances, and I'm again repeating, I don't see any checks and balances, there will be very, very serious deleterious impact on Indian agriculture. That कौन से क्रॉप्स ग्रो करेंगे, और मुझे लगता है ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा कैश क्रॉप्स या कमर्शियल क्रॉप्स ग्रो किए जाएंगे फूड क्रॉप्स के कंपैरिजन में, बिकॉज उसमें प्रॉफिट मार्जिन ज़्यादा होता है. द लॉट ऑफ द फार्मर may or may not improve. My guess is it will not improve, but the lot of the consumer will definitely deteriorate,
So
because they will start growing whatever is this thing giving you more and more value. And these companies typically have a lot of clout. You have already seen what has started happening in Himachal Pradesh and other places. There is a push. Sheetal, I'll just come to you. That there is a lot of push towards decriminalizing the growth of marijuana. So in Himachal Pradesh, because these people are very very मस्त हैं. अभी धीरे 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 वहां तक पहुंच जाएंगे और फिर चरस की खेती होने लगेगी, अफीम की खेती होने लगेगी, तो फिर I mean, I don't know what will happen. I'm not even saying that it will create drug problems in India, but if land which is being used to cultivate aloo is being used to cultivate charas, I only leave it to you to decide what is going to happen to the food situation in India. Yes, Sheetal.
So thank you so much for answering the question first of all, and it has been a really great discussion with you. So secondly, it's the I don't know the details about economics, but the demand supply thing. The
Mhm.
private entities will move from one farmer to the another. If they don't grow those crops or they don't buy at certain price, sell at a certain price, they'll move to the next farmer, and in the longer run, they will be forced because a big player versus a small scale farmer, it will always be a
That is exactly the problem. That is exactly the problem with contract farming. So when there are big farms, when there are prosperous farms, then contract farming is not a problem. आज से नहीं हो रहा, मैं तो 25 साल से देख रहा हूँ. उसके पहले से भी हो रहा हो तो मुझे नहीं पता. But since mid 90s तो हो रहा है. ठीक है? I am aware. But in Dehradun, in Punjab, in Maharashtra, in Karnataka, it has been happening. But it does not happen when it starts happening with the marginal farmer, the poor farmer, जिसके पास 1 एकड़ 2 एकड़ 5 एकड़ जमीन है, तब प्रॉब्लम शुरू हो जाएगी. Because companies will start calling the shots, when to produce, what to produce, how much to produce, whom to sell. तो ये फिर farmer तो फिर slave बन जाएगा ना. That is the problem.
Okay, so there is a suggestion from Karthik Saini, and he is saying that we should all visit UP to see show how profitable farming is. So basically, profitable is in caps, so I can
So
it
I
is a
think we can take up
it is a
Karthik's offer. Karthik's offer can be taken up. So if this is the situation which is there in Western UP, what Karthik is saying, and Western UP is supposed to be more prosperous than
yeah.
other parts, then no, then other parts, then you can well imagine what is the situation. Western UP, Meerut, Bulandshahr, Hapod, these are supposed to be the prosperous areas for agriculture. And if he is saying that ground realities have changed and he is inviting us, then maybe we should take him up and on his offer, and then we can only extrapolate what must be the situation in Azamgarh and Mau in eastern UP, or Gaya in Bihar, or Kendrapada in Odisha. And then we can only extrapolate and understand. No?
So this is a question from Amandeep Gehlot, and this is a long question, so please bear with me. So
Mhm.
he's saying that, good evening, sir. My interaction with farmers highlight that the traders in the current regime have an upper hand in the trading process by citing moisture and other criteria. Do you identify with the need to set up an alternative education negotiation regime for the sake of farmers? What will be the best case scenarios where an uneducated farmer can have a recourse?
So this is exactly what I have also flagged during my talk, and thank you very much, Amandeep. That's exactly the problem. ये जो मॉइस्चर है, ये जो ब्रोकन ग्रेन्स का कंटेंट है, देखो कोई भी ग्रेन जो आती है ना, वो सारी एक जैसी नहीं होती. इट विल बी, कोई चपटी होगी, कोई ब्रोकन होगी, कोई ज्यादा बड़ी होगी, कोई थोड़ी कम बड़ी होगी, एटसेट्रा. Unless it is genetically modified, even then also every grain is not going to look the same. Your father or your mother may have two children. Do they look the same? Do even two twins behave the same? Right? Do they have the same characteristics? Do they have the Are they both equally good in studies? Same is the case with crops. So I mean, there are enough and more clauses in these contracts which are made by top-notch lawyers, and which will give these uneducated farmers absolutely no chance. Right? So what can be done maybe is, you can say that these, if you have to have these kind of contracts, first of all, contracts should be made only voluntary. जिसको बेचना है बेचो, APMC चलेगा. ठीक है, ऐसा mechanism है तो ठीक है. But there must be a very clear guarantee by the government that procurement through by FCI and Markfed, etc., through APMCs will continue unabated. If you are offered more, why not go to the private player? Absolutely no problem. अच्छी बात है, बहुत अच्छा है. So which means the private player is going to, but then there must be very clear commitment that APMC mechanism will continue. If this is given in writing as part of the law, very good. So, but till now they have not been wanting to give it. They have been saying that okay, we will give MSP in writing. अरे MSP का क्या करोगे जब MSP पे खरीद हो ही नहीं रही है? So you simply say that APMC mechanism will continue to work, because by saying so, farmers को ये बात समझ में आती नहीं है या कोई उनको बता नहीं रहा that they are barking up the wrong tree by talking about MSP. They should be talking about APMC and not MSP. Okay, the health of the APMC is important. Otherwise, the farmers don't stand a chance, according to me. And the other thing that should be done is maybe the buying on these contracts, etc., should be vetted through the local panchayat, जो कि लोकल पंचायत में एजुकेटेड आदमी होते हैं, फार्मर्स होते हैं, एक स्टेट गवर्नमेंट का ऑफिसर होता है जो पंचायत सेक्रेटरी होता है, उसका काम होता है लिखा पढ़ी करना। मे बी दीज कॉन्ट्रैक्ट्स कैन बी वेटेड बाय द पंचायत, थ्रू द पंचायत होना चाहिए, जैसा ब्राजील वगैरह में होता है, क्योंकि ब्राजील में भी लोग पढ़े लिखे नहीं होते हैं। ये जो उनका एक स्कीम है PNAE, जैसे हमारे यहाँ मिड डे मील है, वैसे उनके यहाँ PNAE है। दैट्स अ वेरी लार्ज मिड डे मील स्कीम एंड इट इज Portuguese. PNAE, National Feeding Program. Portuguese is the language there, so that's why the initials. And उसके लिए जो भी वो लोकल प्रोक्योरमेंट करते हैं, वो लोकल प्रोक्योरमेंट जो भी करते हैं वो वहाँ के सरपंच के थ्रू करते हैं, वो फार्मर के थ्रू नहीं करते। सरपंच मतलब दे विल कॉन्ट्रैक्ट विद मिस्टर गुरकरण सिंह सन ऑफ मिस्टर राम सिंह, विलेज XYZ, डिस्ट्रिक्ट सो एंड सो, पंजाब, बट इट विल बी थ्रू द सरपंच। जैसे जेल में आप रहते हैं और कोई पिटिशन लगाते हैं, थ्रू जेल सुपरिंटेंडेंट आता है ना, तो सिमिलरली ये थ्रू पंचायत सेक्रेटरी या थ्रू पंचायत आएगा। दिस इज माय सजेशन. Otherwise, the farmer does not have a chance. Two things have to be done. One, APMC mechanism should always stay. And two, procurement by FCI and Markfed should continue. This should be an optional. ऐसा नहीं है कि होना नहीं चाहिए, करो कॉन्ट्रैक्ट फार्मिंग, बड़ी अच्छी बात है, आजकल भी हो रही है ना, बट don't stop the APMCs. Number 3, you have to ensure that if these contracts are set up, they should be set up through the option has to be given that they should be set up through the APMC mechanism, through the panchayats.
So this is the last
Just
question.
just adding
I
to
think a
that.
couple of people have just put up their hands. Do you think we can give them this thing? I think they
Yeah.
wanted to ask.
They
So
they
this
can
is the last
just
question
put in their
from
questions.
So they say he is saying that can Supreme Court repeal these laws, and if yes, then do they under its judicial review power on in the way the procedure in which the laws were passed by the government in Rajya Sabha through voice vote. So basically he's asking about the process which was adopted by the government in the Rajya Sabha. So was that unconstitutional?
See, राज्यसभा में वॉइस वोट का अगर आपको ऑप्शन है, दैट इज इट इज नॉट अनकॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल. इफ द members are asking for a division, it is the right of the members to ask for a division, but nobody in the Rajya Sabha asked for division, no? So then that is why.
I
And
think they asked for a division.
if they ask for a division, तो फिर तो गलत हो गया. Then they should ask for. I mean, if they've asked for a division, then you have to. I mean, then the bill has probably been unconstitutionally passed. But if that is the case, but even otherwise, even if it has been properly passed, the Supreme Court can still strike it down on the ground that it is ultra vires the Constitution, if the Supreme Court so feels. Please note that in the last 4 months or whatever, Supreme Court has not applied their mind on merits at all. That's why I said Supreme Court is becoming panchayat, which is not good. Because इसका फिर कोई अंत ही नहीं है, कल को खाप पंचायत भी बन जाएगा. No, that is the problem.
So Vishal is raising his hand. Vishal, if you want to say something. Vishal?
I think Amandeep was also raising
Amandeep,
his hand.
yeah,
Amandeep,
Amandeep.
Paramjeet,
Sir, I'll take this opportunity. Sir, while the FCI figures state that the MSP has been successfully implemented in the northern part of India, in my experience in the farmlands of Uttarakhand, there has been no recourse when the MSP is not being supplied to the farmer. Most farmers have been selling below the MSP for the last 10 or 15 years. So if the direction this law takes, and it implements the MSP as a fundamental right a farmer can enforce in the High Court or the Supreme Court of India, or for that matter, an additional lower judiciary system, would that be beneficial?
See, Amandeep, there are 2-3 things. First of all, this law has taken away the right to approach the lower judiciary. You have to now go before the STM. Number one.
Sir,
Number
can
two,
I add something there?
Yeah, please.
When I saw the SDM codes in the farmlands I'm talking about, I saw a parallel litigation culture being brewing there. So when I saw that, I also felt that when the advocates and the SDM is closer to the farmlands and to the ground, they have a better chance at giving the farmers the recourse that they want. Because somebody approaching the district court is already burdened with a lot of pressure, right? Then SDM court will be in a better position to adjudicate on these matters. What do you think about that, sir?
It may be specific to the state of Uttarakhand, Amandeep, because these matters, they can vary from state to state. My experience of Delhi, UP, etc., is that the SDM courts, their docket is more overloaded as compared to the court's dockets, and moreover, the court understands these kind of things better than the SDM courts. But things could be different from state to state. ऐसा नहीं है. Whichever, I mean, if this model works for people, then I'm fine with it. That's no problem. But I mean, going with the general spirit, and maybe there is a bias here, because I believe that adjudication work should actually be done with the adjudicators, which is the law courts, and certain magistracy powers have to be with the SDMs and the district magistrates, but they should be as far as possible reduced. That is my view. Maybe there is a bias, because I firmly believe that the executive and the judiciary's role should not intermingle as per Article 50. So that's my view on the STM's court. And the other thing, we have to look into why MSP, why FCI, etc., are not doing procurement in Uttarakhand. Is it cost of, because FCI badmash to hai. So
Sir, if I may want to give some context, the procedure is there, the MSP is there, but the executive itself is not putting it into action. There
मैं
is
समझ गया
rampant
ना.
corruption.
मैं समझ गया. एफसीआई भी बदमाश है. लोकल वो जो है एफसीआई इसलिए नहीं खरीदना चाहता होगा क्योंकि इतना इनफ प्रेशर नहीं है, इतनी इनफ क्वांटिटी नहीं है, तो उनका ट्रांसपोर्टेशन कॉस्ट बढ़ जाता है. हिली स्टेट है, लाल कुआं से लेके आओगे, काठगोदाम से लेके आओगे, जहाँ से भी लेके आओगे, इवन देहरादून से भी लाना ईजी नहीं है. ऑल्दो देहरादून हैज अ वेरी बिग आड़त बाजार, so it is not very easy to get it. You'll have to store it in Saharanpur, and all those things will be there. And local food department procure ही नहीं करना चाहता होगा, so obviously बदमाशी करते होंगे. So and वो भी उनका भी reason यही होता है, friends. Whenever anybody is procuring below MSP, whenever state, see, please understand, why is a farmer selling below MSP? Because the state government is not doing its job, or because the central government is not doing its job. State government और central government के ऊपर binding है ना MSP. Private trader के ऊपर तो binding है नहीं. Private trader तो मजबूरी में ही जाता है वो आदमी उसके पास कि भाई सेंटर और स्टेट ने मेरा माल रिजेक्ट कर दिया. क्यों? वो हमेशा से मैं सुनते आया हूँ मॉइस्चर ब्रोकन. सो उसी के कारण जो है ये एज इफ कोई किसान पानी में भिगो के थोड़ी लाता है यार. हो जाता है मॉइस्चर का प्रॉब्लम, सुखा दो पंखा चला के मंडी में, ठीक हो जाएगा. उसको कोई इतनी प्रॉब्लम थोड़ी है. बट मॉइस्चर और ब्रोकन के चक्कर में मना कर देता है, तो वो किसान को जाना पड़ता है किसी और के पास. क्यों? क्योंकि किसान की तो आगे की कहानी चल रही है ना. उसने तो ऑलरेडी अपनी फसल बेच के आगे की प्लानिंग कर ली है ना बेचारे ने. दैट इज द प्रॉब्लम.
So these ends our questions.
Sir,
And
I'm sorry to interrupt, Mr. Gurkaran.
No
Could you
problem.
please
I think
reflect
there
on
was
the
also a
MSP
question by
point, the point of
Paramjit. Yeah. Go ahead,
fun-
Mandeep.
enforcing enforcing the MSP as a fundamental right? Do you think it will be a good step for this record?
Aman, like I was saying, MSP as a fundamental right से भी ज़्यादा ज़रूरी है आपकी सरकार procure करे, and सरकार कैसे procure करेगी? APMCs के through. So this is my view that how will you see, you may make anything as a fundamental right, but how will you enforce it? Enforcement mechanism ही नहीं होगा. And fundamental right किसके against होता है? When you see article part 3 of the constitution, on whom is fundamental rights being applied? Against the state only, na? Except for article 17, except for article 23, where do you find fundamental rights applying against private people? So
Of course, the state.
Yeah, so my view is only this, that instead of asking for MSP to be made legally this thing, which it already is, it's just a question of semantics. The view should be that APMC should continue and government should continue to procure. That is my view.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, most welcome. Yes, Gurkaran, I think there is one last question you can take. Yeah.
सर सर आपने बताया था कि मतलब मीडिया का जो उसने पार्ट बताया था, जैसे कहते हैं मतलब वो उसमें फेक न्यूज़ उस चीज का कोई
परमजीत, यू नॉट ऑडिबल प्रॉपर्ली. आप अपना क्वेश्चन लिख सकते हो एक बार. अगर आप लिख सकते हो तो आप टाइप कर दो. यू नॉट ऑडिबल.
हाँ Wait,
Just check your connection.
actually, I had
Ah.
internet issue.
No,
Wait,
no
wait,
problem,
wait.
Paramjit.
Not
If
an
I
issue.
understood your question right, you are talking about fake news पे कोई legislation है क्या? This is जो मेरे को थोड़ा बहुत समझ में आया. आप लिख लो. We will have a look at it. No problem.
Wait,
अगर इस सेशन में नहीं हो पाया तो we'll reply you your we'll just email you your reply. Don't worry. Send us your question.
Okay, so Vishy, should I go for a vote of thanks?
Yeah. I think
So no,
it's okay.
vote of thanks तो आप दोगे. Before ending this, I would just like to add something which is, I call it as author's perspective. Okay, I'm an author.
Legally yours perspective.
It is not, it cannot be legally yours, it is my perspective. So it's my personal view that the failure of this government has been that it has not consulted the stakeholders before beginning such a vast legislation, and that too in COVID time. And you may or may not agree with the way the protesters are protesting. You may or may have some reservations about the law, but calling them terrorists, Khalistanis, and all is something which should be looked into. Calling Khalsa Aid a terrorist organization is something which has deeply hurted.
Khalsa Aid is known the world over, ना? तो वो तो
हाँ,
पूरी दुनिया में, मतलब वो तो पता है आपको, लंदन में भी गुरुद्वारों में जाके खाना खिलाते हैं. जब लंदन में वो
that's
टेररिस्ट अटैक हुआ था, फ्लड्स
right.
आए थे, तो सारे आदमी वहीं जाके गुरुद्वारे में जाके खाते थे खालसा एड वाले.
Basically, Khalsa Aid is headquartered in London only. So that's a grim reality. The failure of this government is that it takes pride that हमारा एक 56 इंच का सीन है and we will not take back the law in at any cost. But trust me, on the ground, the reports are very grim. On the ground, is a lot of anger. On the ground, you may or may not agree. You can have reservations, but calling them thulla, calling them कि निठल्ले आ गए हैं, calling the andata of this country as terrorist is something which should be deeply looked into. And I have some concerns and for the fabric of this country, and that's why I was saying that it is my personal view. I live in an area which is basically dominated by non-Sikhs, but I have never heard these words before, and I really feel the empathy of the so-called Muslims and on this issue, that how they would be feeling for the past 6 years. So before you take sides, you can be a Bhakt, you can be anything. You may support X, Y, Z ideology. Please go on the ground, check the reality before tweeting, before going on the social media, before raising hatred, because this is something which should be condemned at any cost. Media, the fourth pillar of democracy, has taken a huge beating in this case. And I would request all of you to go on the ground, see the reality yourself. It is quite easy to sit in our AC, in our heater room, doing anything on the Twitter, doing anything on the Facebook, doing, just posting stuff without verifying it. We as law students are expected to fare much better on this aspect. And I would request all of you that you may have ideological differences with certain people, but protesters also have a right. Any democracy thrives on protest, and democracy won't survive if there are no protests. With that, I would ask Abhishek if he wants to take the vote of thanks on it.
Yeah,
Thank
even before vote of thanks, I just wanted to add one point that मैं government से बहुत ज़्यादा चाहूँगा कि I'm all up for privatization, limited privatization of course, but even if private players are like invited to for this avenue of farming, इससे भी ज़्यादा agencies like CCI, Competition Commission of India, should be made vigilant so that anti-competitive practices can be curbed. क्योंकि सबसे बड़ा जो प्रॉब्लम है कि अगर एपीएमसी इन केस सपोजिटली कुछ डेडलॉक खत्म नहीं होता, गवर्नमेंट गोज अहेड विद दिस, सबसे बड़ा डर जो है वो एंटी कॉम्पिटिटिव प्रैक्टिसेस का ही है. उसी से एपीएमसी खत्म होंगी, अदरवाइज क्या आएगा. तो एजेंसीज लाइक कॉम्पिटिशन कमीशन ऑफ इंडिया शुड बी मेड विजिलेंट. सो
I agree with what Abhishek is saying. It is very important in my view, no matter whatever people say that APMCs are inefficient, they are corrupt, whatever. APMCs अगर exist करती हैं तभी farmer has a chance, otherwise really doesn't have a chance. Just like, see, we all like to criticize the government. We all like to say that the government is slow and bureaucratic and corrupt. But why do we want a government job? It is exactly for the same reason that we need APMCs. The farmer needs the APMCs. That is my view. I know APMCs are not functioning well in a lot of states like Bengal, but अगर कोई चीज ठीक function नहीं कर रही है उसको सुधारना चाहिए, ये नहीं कि उसको फेंक देना चाहिए. Abhishek, I'll just take a minute to answer this question. Which
Not an issue, sir. Not an issue, sir. Take your time.
One of our participants has picked up, and she's saying who should take charge of fake news and false accusations. So the short answer, Paramjit, is it is the work of the Press Council of India. They have the mandate to regulate the electronic media. Now the social media is with the try, and any kind of fake news should definitely be punished because ये काफी dangerous होता है and it creates problems. Okay, yes, over to you, Abhishek.
So the farmer is the only man in our economy who buys everything at retail, sells everything at wholesale, and pays freight both ways. Not my words, but of John F. Kennedy. On behalf of Legally Yours, I extend my gratitude towards Dr. Sirohi for finding precious time to enlighten young minds on today's topic on such a short notice. Sir has been the part and parcel of Legally Yours even before we started the site and the blog. I would like to thank all the participants for their active participation that has helped us to bring this wonderful discussion to its final conclusion. I would like to thank my team members, Gurkaran, Prachi, Tanya, and Tanavi in alphabetical order, who have been working day and night to organize this event. I extend my not very genuine thanks to our union government and their fanboys and fangirls. It is due to their due diligence, good consultations, and fact findings we had a chance to organize a very informative events. We had to organize a very informative event to spread awareness. Lastly, in case you are not already an Advent follower, the link to our website is in the description box, and you shall also find our various social media handles on the website. Kindly subscribe to our newsletter for various updates. We hold events and webinar series regularly and update our content weekly with blogs and other useful legal resources that could help you in your legal profession and or in your personal life. Thank you, everyone. Until next time.
Thank you very
Thank you
much.
so
Bye
much.
bye.
Thank you, sir.